On today's show, we recover from the Monday Night Football Lions defeat. We have a few trailers to review. We're also going to review Joker. We have some brand new music for you and a brand new garbage person of the week. Jacob's research is awful. Picking dodgeball players, I'm picking the kids that can throw the ball. I just blew LeBron. I don't care what team he's on.
Okay.
No, it's okay. They did a broadcast this morning. I had like one viewer. Good job, guys. And that was me again.
Sure.
Did we ever see a cover of Eddie Murphy's Party All the Time? But this is the Lions we're talking about. So anything's possible. Kicker, long snapper. Nobody else matters, right, Darren?
Not to me. Not to me. It's top five time.
Top five.
Today. Wow. Did you really say that Miss Congeniality is better than The Blind Side? I said she dressed like a hooker. This is at a diner. You know, show some respect, show some class, and just don't be a bunch of dummies. See, I think there are other better gangster movies than Scarface. For God's sakes, look at your goddamn boots. For Christ's sakes, it's time to grow roots. Welcome to the ADG Podcast, episode 8 of the ADG Podcast. I'm Darren.
And I'm Jacob.
We have a great show for you today, this week, I should say. And Jake, before we get into the trailers, the garbage person of the week, and the music, we got to talk sports, and we got to talk those Lions.
I think you and I are angry.
Lions.
We're angry. I think we're angry
what?
for different reasons.
Last night, if you're unaware of it or just didn't care, the Lions played on Monday Night Football, national audience against Green Bay Packers. Game started around 8:15, ended a little bit around 11:30. Depends on if you're a Packer fan or a Lions fan. You were either pissed off or breathing a sigh of relief that the game was over. Obviously, me and Jake were in the pissed off category.
Very much so.
Obviously, I was more pissed off last night, but after I slept on it, and, a few hours have passed. I'm composing myself, where I can calmly say that the Lions once again went lion, and once again they're fans. I'm a fan. Jake's a fan. We all went the same route every time a referee, an official calls two crucial, critical penalties against the Lions that led to the Lions losing the game. Now, Jake, you're a fan for a long time, just like me. There's really nothing that we haven't seen that surprises us. Last night was something I haven't seen ever. I think in the Lions, as the Lions blew another game where, once again, we said this last week, is that you have to start on time, which they did. First play from scrimmage, flicker, that was beautiful. You throw a bomb down to Kenny Galladay for a big 66-yard game. That was beautiful.
No, it was great. It was amazing.
That was great. That's the way that you wanted to. That's the way you start a game. You put the Packers on notice, like, hey, we're not here to fuck around. We're gonna take it to you, which would make sense. The very next play, Stafford fumbles over his own feet.
and I messaged you right away.
Yeah, and I'm like, here we go again.
Yep.
It's Kansas City all over again. It's Arizona all over again. And so what do? Third down, miss pass, settle for 3 points, and that was what was going on all game long. It was like on repeat. Lions in the red zone, 3 points. Lions in the red zone, 3 points.
I get it, because it's five field goals the entire game.
Five
can't
field
be
goals
like that.
is
You can't
not
have
going to
that.
beat Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry. You
It's
can't.
not.
You can't just score 3 when he can easily go down and score 7, making ridiculous throws to wide receivers who are probably going to be bagging groceries next week. They had no one there. No Devontae Adams. Marquez Scantling was injured during the game. Geronimo Allison was blown apart by another bogus call. So he was throwing bombs and dimes to Kirk Lazarus. Who?
Yeah,
exactly.
I know, right? Exactly.
But yeah, first quarter, I thought they played great. offensive wise. Defense, where is the pass rush, Jake? There is no pressure on Aaron Rodgers. He could be there barbecuing on a hibachi before any time pressure comes in his face.
Yeah, Detroit doesn't blitz. He's the worst blitzing team in the league.
Yeah.
And with the talent you have up front, you should be, rushing more than three guys in your own half of the field. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, yeah, you're playing man ball, but come on now. Like, you need some pressure. It's Aaron Rodgers, damn it. You're going to give him 3 seconds to throw?
Oh,
He's going to throw the ball.
yeah.
He's going to advance the ball.
He had like 7 seconds.
I know. It was ridiculous.
It was unbelievable. And so, what are some positive from this game? I'm looking. Was it okay? The first quarter offensively, that was positive.
Well, you know what I think positive?
Yeah.
The play calling on offense was pretty positive because it wasn't the typical Lions. I saw them line up with
I found
fullback.
some things that were
I know
that were typical Lions, like
right.
rushing 21 times for 56 yards.
Yes, well that.
Lions.
But they lined up with a fullback like a run, but they threw. They put on the option. They just did a lot of things that the Lions wouldn't do. But as soon as they got punched in the face back, they reverted to the running the ball on first down every time, which is fucking annoying. We all know you're gonna do that. Mm-hmm. It's obvious.
Yeah.
But not taking chances like they did in the first quarter.
No.
Just make fucking plays. Mix it up. Keep them guessing. No, you punch in the face. Second half, dead.
Yeah. Second half, they only mustered 56 yards of offense.
Exactly.
56 yards. That's a joke.
That was shit.
You had more yards in that first pass of the game than you did the all second half. You know what? And then the game, obviously they had some key turnovers. The Packers were trying to lose this game. They were trying to give this game away as much as they could, but the Lions could not capitalize it. The turnover, the interception on the goal line, that was huge. I'm like, okay, score here and the game is over.
Exactly. They can't. They hurt themselves. That's what happens.
This happens all the time, Jake. We see them. They start off hot, score on their first 3 or 4 possessions in a row, and then second half, boom. We don't need to score anymore. We'll rely on our defense.
Well, you can't. The defense sucks.
The defense sucks. This defense is horrible.
On paper, amazing. On the field, shit.
Yeah. There's just no heart in this defense, and I know Patricia is, comes defensive-minded guy, but from what he puts out there, no pressure on the quarterback. I know you understand you want to do a man-to-man and cover everything, but then you can't do it against these top elite quarterbacks who can run the ball. And plus, if you don't get pressure on them, they're just going to wait until someone breaks free from their coverage and just dump it off to him.
See, another positive thing, I guess, would be pencil head Mumu guy, at his conference after the game said that he's not blaming the referees. They should have done better. Well, no fucking shit. You should have done better. If you've done better, the referees could have tried securing you more, but you would have had a bigger lead. Instead of those 5 field goals, at least a touchdown or two would have been
those two calls.
Yeah,
those two calls, if the Lions did their part, would not affect the outcome of the game.
That's right.
Plain and simple.
Yeah, we can pick on them when the 2 bad calls. We can pick on why did the Lions have 12 men on the field and on a field goal attempt.
Perfect example. That's just pure. That's not executing at all. How do you not know how many players are on your field?
Right, and also in the first quarter, the Packers had 12 men on the field and nobody called that. Let's just remember that.
No, Jake, they didn't have 12. They had 13 men on the field.
I stopped counting.
No one threw the flag. 13 men. I've never seen that in my life watching the NFL. And I know the NFL. Listen, the NFL has an officiating a referee problem. It's not just happened in the Lions game. Multiple games this year. The referee in this league is horrendous.
Yes, that's true. But you know what happens is we get every year extra little tiny calls that make a huge difference in a game. Remember the Dallas game?
Yeah.
Remember what's it called? The Seahawks game.
Yeah.
Punching the ball out of the end zone. Like they do things again. Like seems like it's against the
Right.
Lions on purpose. And it's
Yeah.
every year something. This is going to be one of those games. I'm telling you.
But you know what? And I'm not one to shed blame or pass the buck. But you know what I'm sick of after games like these are these stupid Lions fans that blame the referees. No, don't blame the
No.
referee because the
Right.
referees hose every team. Yes, obviously we get more calls against us
Just true.
than other teams. But you know what? Make your team score more than 22 points. Actually score touchdowns, not just field goals.
That's right. You remember, just one touchdown makes a huge
One
difference. Not
touchdown,
five field. One
one
touchdown.
one touchdown the whole game. That's not going to beat anyone. I don't
That's
care who
right.
you play. We don't have the Baltimore defense. We don't have the St. Louis Rams or the LA Rams defense. We don't have a Pro Bowl caliber defense where we score 22 points and the game is over, pretty much. We don't
Right.
have that. So we have to score. And you know what? I'm sick and tired of when everyone says, man, Lions got hosed. Lions got hosed. Lions got screwed. Where is Patricia? Where is Stafford? Where is the ownership speaking up and says, you know what? I'm sick and tired of this stuff happening to our team. Take some credibility. Put your balls on the table and say like, hey, we're sick and tired of being the league's punching bag, because that's what the Detroit Lions are.
It's true, and they are. But the only thing you're going to get out of Stafford, which again I have his jersey, so fuck off, and pencil head muumuu wearing guy, and the
Yeah.
organization is no one ever says anything except what's written down, vague
Yeah.
comments of we need to execute, need to do better, we're planning for the next year,
We
whatever the fuck
yeah,
is.
we
It's
got
all the
we got to
same
do
shit.
better. We got to coach
Yeah,
better. We got to execute
yeah.
better.
Okay, well we hear the same shit every time. How about you get angry a little bit because you got fucked?
Show us some
How
fire.
about
Show us some
yeah,
passion.
anything,
You
anything.
know?
Yeah, we screwed up a couple plays. We got, we missed a call on having too many people on the field. Yeah, that's on us.
Yeah.
Like admit some of that shit. Like it's something, anything. You guys watch the game or did you just watch replays? Like I don't get these
Yeah.
people.
Because the NFL is so political these days. You can't say nothing, or you're never gonna get a call from here on out. You
Yeah,
know,
and
and the Tigers being their best to be good little boys. You know, that's why I can appreciate what they do in New England with Bill Belichick. Just pretty much tells everyone to fuck off. You
pretty
know,
much.
you know
Yeah.
we need that because not Schwartz, not Caldwell, not Patricia, not Marty Morningweg, not Steve Mariucci. No one who's ever coached the Lions had the balls to say what's really going on.
No, none of them have. No one's gonna admit what
No
this
one's gonna
city is,
have,
what this
you
football
know.
team is. No.
And you know what? That's the problem. Why people will hate Matthew Stafford or
He doesn't say anything.
or Pat Stafford,
Pat
whatever you
Stafford.
want it with. And a lot of people didn't like that cartoon about him that we talked about last week. It's true, man. He doesn't show up in big games. He doesn't get pissed off. I'm sure, yeah, he gets pissed off on the sidelines, but then post game coverage, yeah, well, we gotta do better.
Um,
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 yeah,
yeah, no, like, buddy, like, you're getting paid more than anybody else on this team. Like, show a little bit of leadership,
yeah,
get pissed off, fire up your players, maybe a little bit, and with all the talent that you have, maybe you'll win something. Like, I'm
yeah.
trying to get a playoff game here. Like, that's not much to ask. It's not. You're the best division in football.
You know what?
It
And
looks like you can compete. How about you actually prove it? It's not too much to ask. You're never gonna come on this show so we can talk to you about it. But maybe somebody's listening. It's
yeah,
not too much to ask for us to watch this team for years and decades and hope they actually win a playoff game. I'm not even saying NFC Championship. I'm not even saying Super Bowl because that's fucking impossible. How about we just have a playoff game? One. One.
yeah,
I watched
yeah,
the New Orleans playoff game way back when. I watched it. I watched it get blown out. That was a decent team, good defense. So the
yeah.
fuck.
This was like supposed to be, this was a big statement game for Lions, national TV, Monday night. Really put the team on display. And to their credit, they started off good. I'm like, oh,
Oh no, it
obviously,
was a great start. Yeah.
I was like, okay, obviously you had 2 weeks to prepare for this team, 2 weeks, and that's the effort that you give. They talk about you got to play a full 60 minutes. Why our red zone offense is deplorable, deplorable.
Not if you're
This
kicking field goals. They're great.
the only time I want to see a kicker on
Not
the
Prater
field,
MVP.
yeah, the only time I want to see a kicker on the field is either to tie it or to win it. That's the
Right.
only time I want to see him.
4th and 10 at the 45-yard line. Yeah, you
But
kick
but
it.
yeah, but obviously, the what the national media is talking about today is those two calls on Trey Flowers,
Yeah.
the,
Which they're right. You watch the report.
which hands to the face, which he wasn't. He had him around the collar. Last I
Right.
checked, a collar is not a face.
Right, that's right. Or the neck, which is also what
Or
it's supposed to be.
he wasn't even grabbing his neck or nothing.
Exactly. It was just on the jersey.
He was tugging on the collar of the shirt.
Yeah.
And I heard on the radio today as I was driving, they brought up an interesting fact. Like, would he, Trey Flowers, who he's done that move, that's his move that he's been doing for years.
Yeah.
That move, if he was still on New England, does that move get flagged?
Oh, hell no.
No, of course not.
New England. You're kidding.
Yeah.
So,
So,
15 minutes of venting about this terrible ass team,
you
which we
know,
love. It's
yeah,
still
we
terrible.
love, but it doesn't look like they love us back with the performance that they
They never do.
no. So now now they come home, take on the Vikings and that ferocious defense. Good luck, Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, well, this is a must-win game.
It's a
You lose,
must-win game,
you lose
but
this one right off the season.
yeah, you're looking at what 2-3-1. Yeah, your season pretty much done.
Yeah, done.
But I'm not saying that the division is locked like for Green Bay. I still think this division is open. Because Green Bay is going to come back down to earth. Yeah, they started off hot 5-1, but I don't see them continuing that hot start.
They got to come here and play inside
Yeah,
later on.
you know what? You know what, Jake, and I do believe that game is going to mean something to the Lions. It could be
It always does. You just wait for that Hail Mary at the end of the game to lose.
No, it's gonna be a wild card. I think
it is
a wild card type of game because you know what? It's gonna be an interesting. I'm gonna look at it this way. After all the people seeing that like how good the Lions can be and how they got hosed like that and how pissed they were, are they gonna come out angry and more determined and more prone to execute, especially in the red zone in the weeks to come?
Well, they have to do something. Like we can't drop passes in the end zone. You can't. You really can't. Pull it into your chest and you hold on your life.
Yeah, Hawkinson looked like Eric Ebron in the end zone there.
Oh my God! Yeah, one pass. Yeah, one pass. Let's not get carried away.
No, but I'm sorry.
One pass.
You're the 8th overall pick.
True.
The 8th best player taken in the draft. Catch that ball, bring it in your chest, and don't drop it.
That's true. But again, Eric Ebron is a bad comparison. The guy sucked here.
Hey, the guy's a Pro Bowler.
Okay. Pro Bowler.
He is.
Hey, that's great. Who canceled? Who didn't want to go? Oh man, that's awful. Let's not talk about Ebron. I guess terrible. Yeah. All right, but yeah, there you go. Just venting on this damn team. Hey, you want to vent on another team? There's another football game that you might be mad about, and these guys didn't score any points.
Yeah.
You want to talk about your Sparties?
No, I really don't want to talk about my Sparties.
Oh man, Wisconsin took it to the cleaners. I thought the Michigan game was bad against Wisconsin, but holy shit, you guys want to throw, kick, throw anything? There's an end zone you can run into. Anything? No? Holy shit, 0 points. You guys got egged. That's bad. Nothing? Okay. Darren's pleading the fifth on this game.
Yeah.
But it's okay. If Michigan did, it'd be like, Harbaugh, khakis.
Harbaugh is he's a special breed.
Yeah, he's probably gonna get fired after this year. Or next year.
Yeah,
Either way, he's getting fired.
you got a tough game going on the road and against Penn State at night under the lights.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. Penn State's not bad.
Yeah.
Nah, who knows? There you go. There's your sports
Here's your sports update.
something. Yeah.
Speaking of great movies and great documentaries, WIF is starting up in the next 10 days. We are proud and honored to have one of the great filmmakers in the Windsor Essex region, Mike Evans, join us to talk about his film, Finding Featherhat Guy. Mike, welcome to the ADG podcast.
It's great to be here, guys.
Really great.
Welcome.
Yes.
Thank you.
So Mike, tell us what was the reasoning behind making a documentary on Featherhat Guy, who is a Windsor pretty much institution.
Well, it kind of goes way back. Early 2000s, I was working downtown. I was just starting to get into video cameras and filmmaking and all that and editing. And I watched Michael Moore's film, Bowling for Columbine. And there's a scene that was filmed at the Windsor riverfront in that film, and which kind of blew my mind. I was always happy whenever I saw a movie that had Windsor in it, a Hollywood film that had Windsor in it. So here's Michael Moore on the riverfront. He's interviewing somebody, talking to them about the differences between Canadian culture and American culture as far as guns are concerned. And who should walk by in the background but Featherhat Guy? He walked by in the background, and ever since that, I was kind of like overly interested in this guy, and I just wanted to track him down and find out his story and kind of make friends with him. And so I approached him, and he was still is super nice guy. And we've developed this friendship over 15 years plus. And I've gone back to him over the years to ask him questions whenever I was downtown. Darren, you know what it's like when you're working in the news business, you're downtown with a camera.
Right.
And you just keep running into the same people. And so you just ask them the same questions, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's kind of how it started. And from there, I accumulated all this footage, 15 years worth of footage of, like I said, going back and forth and seeing him every couple years. After the Spitfires would win a parade or would win a Memorial Cup, there would be a victory parade on Olette. And I'd talk to him how he feels about the team winning. I'd buy him a coffee. I'd take him to Burger King. I met a lot of his friends. And, he's, like you said, he's one of those Windsor legends that everybody thinks they know. But right. I was determined to get the whole story.
Exactly. So you spent, like you said, 15 years on and off, just creating little snippets of him, your interactions with him. What would be the one thing that people wouldn't know about Rockin' Ronnie, aka Featherhat Guy?
Something that people don't know about him?
Yeah.
He's actually very, very intelligent. We're talking about a guy here who has managed to become a legend doing nothing more than exercising. He gets out there and he walks, and he has the impression that you see him everywhere, all over the place, and it's just because he's moving around so much.
Yeah.
So he's very fit. He's very intelligent, and he can talk to anybody. And that's one of the things that I admire most about this gentleman is that he's not afraid of people. He has to get along with people in order to get by because he depends on the kindness of strangers. He wakes up with no money in his pocket, and he's got to go out and eat. He's got to go out and drink, and he's got to go out and kind of take care of himself, just using his wits. So I kind of think that's an interesting thing about him.
Right. Jake, do you have anything to add?
Yeah. So I remember this character from way back in the late 90s when I was downtown. But how did he feel about you doing this type of documentary?
Yeah.
Tell him right away, or?
Well, the first time back in 2004, I think he was a little bit standoffish because he didn't know who I was. And after that first encounter, he found out that he learned pretty quick that I was just a harmless guy who just wanted to have a camera. And so after that base introduction, him and I are friends. So when I see him now, he welcomes me with open arms, and he doesn't give me too much of his time, you know. I try not to take too much of his time, but I'll take him and buy him a coffee, or like I said, take him out for something to eat, and just ask him a couple questions. And then there's always a point where he says, "Okay, you know, I gotta go. I got something else to do," and I don't push him, I don't pressure him, and I say, "Okay, well, thank you so much," and we both kind of go on our merry way.
Right. We're talking about this guy. He constantly walks around and he said that he relies on the kindness of strangers to get by. How much money
Yeah.
would you think that he would make it like a day doing what he does?
I asked him that question back in 2009 when I followed him around one night, and he said at that point he wasn't making that much money. So you remember 2008, 2009 was kind of a downturn, so people didn't have as much spare change to give this guy, but he was still making about $30 a day at that point. I imagine that it's gone up because everybody I know tries to hook him up, and it's just a couple bucks here and a couple bucks there, but it really adds up.
Right. Oh,
Are
absolutely.
you planning on showing him the movie, or has he seen the movie yet, or
Yeah, so
how are you gonna go about doing that?
he hasn't seen the movie. I've told him about it. I want to have him come to the WIF screening, which is happening on November 2nd at the Capitol Theater, and I think that would be amazing if he could come to that screening, as long as somebody doesn't have to sit or behind him with his giant massive hat on.
Yes.
I think that would be a lot of fun. So I'm going to try to get him in there, and I don't know how he's going to react.
Right.
He is well aware that I've been filming him on and off for many, many years, but I don't know how much he understands filmmaking and whatnot, and I don't go into great lengths to try to describe it to him or anything, right?
Yeah. No, exactly. Uh, he, like you said, he's kind of like this figure in the downtown Windsor area, and like downtown is, well, back then is not what it used to be now.
Right.
So and there's a lot of mystique about him. There's superstitions that I've heard over the years that if you give him a feather or he gives you one of his feather, you get good luck. Have you heard any of those superstition stories about him?
Absolutely. Yeah, we talked about that in the film. And I had one of my daughters come along with me, and we had an eagle feather, and she gave it to him with the understanding that it would bring her luck, because that is one of those superstitions that I heard going way, way back to the early 2000s, that if you give him a feather, it'll bring you luck. So I didn't need the luck. I gave it to my little girl, and she gave it to him. So hopefully she's got some good luck coming to her. But I remember the first time I saw him, I felt kind of honored that I was hanging out with this local celebrity type guy. And he took me into his world, and he introduced me to all his friends, guys like Mark the Card Bevins, Mad Dog Kelly, a couple other guys that are no longer around. And it gave me I felt really cool after that. And then at the end of the night, before he took off, he was going to the mission. Before he took off, he said that I made him feel special, because he looked like a big shot in front of his friends, because there was a guy with a camera there hanging out with him just because of who he was. Yeah, so it was kind of cool. We both kind of got this impression that, I felt good about being around him. He felt good about being around me. So that was kind of the beginning of our friendship.
That's great. When you first started doing this, did you have any expectations that people were going to see this, or it was going to be a documentary, or eventually get into a film festival?
Wow. No, not really. Back in 2004, it was just the beginning of YouTube. I wasn't even involved in YouTube back then. I was just kind of taking this footage to have. I've always been kind of into archival film, archival video. You should see some of the stuff that I have in my archives. But no, this I don't know what I was thinking, Darren. But later on in 2016, when I was doing some sit-down interviews with him, and I was strapping a GoPro to his hat to try to get him walking down Olette Avenue with a GoPro on his head, I had an idea then that I could maybe turn this in, combining all the different elements of everything I have. I could turn it into something special. And hopefully I've done that. Hopefully he'll see it and he'll get a kick out of it, and you guys will see it and you'll get a kick out of it.
Oh, absolutely. So November 2nd at the Capitol Theater during WIF. That's got you got to be proud of that hundreds and hundreds of people, maybe more, are going to see this.
Yeah, I am very proud of it. That I get to show it to my kids. I get to show it to my other family members, my wife. I've shown it to a lot of them already, and I've gotten a lot of positive feedback. You know, I was always worried that there'd be too much, there would be negativity associated with it, and you know that
Right.
you can people take cheap shots at Windsor, but I'm not in it for that kind of thing. I'm more of a nostalgia and capturing a moment in history before it's gone forever, because you know everything comes to an end, right? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's true. Now, after it's released and shown in on the second, what are your plans for it? Because you know it's a big deal to have it at our festival here.
Yeah.
And what's next for that for your
Uh,
documentary?
yeah, I made it specifically for Windsor and Windsorites. I'm billing it as the most Windsor centric film ever made. It's got Windsor people involved, Windsor camera people, all the friends that helped me make it. I got to give a shout out to Ken Amlin, give a shout out to
Yes.
Hula Dog, give a shout out to Darren DeCarlo.
Yeah.
Oh
Um,
wow,
uh,
cheap pop.
Yes.
I got, you know, it's just, I just want it to be something that finds life, maybe online, maybe I can stream it. I don't have any aspirations to enter it in any other festivals. I don't think it would fly in any other festival, but we'll see. You never know, right?
What would something like this, would the Windsor Essex Tourism Board be interested in this film?
I'm not sure. That's a really good question. You're going to have to ask them after they see it.
I was gonna
But
say, because hey, you want to promote Windsor, promote this guy.
A
yeah,
promotional
yeah.
video.
There you go.
No, that's a good idea. I'm glad I'm talking to you guys.
Oh, glad to have you on. So
Yeah, and
that's
we're definitely gonna share whatever you decide to do with it. We're always gonna
yes,
be here to promote the crap out of it online and all of our social media.
exactly.
I love the
Yeah.
poster, by the way. I really like the
Oh,
Poster's
poster for it.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, Ken
Yeah.
Amlin did that, and I'm very pleased with it. I got one framed hanging on my wall in my man cave,
It's beautiful.
and I've got a couple more I want to give out too.
There you
I'm
go.
going to get Rock and Ronnie. I'm going to give Rock and Ronnie, aka Featherhat Guy, to autograph them as well. So those will be special
Oh,
editions.
beautiful, beautiful.
Nice.
So
I just got to find him first.
yeah, that's the whole thing. He's very elusive for his age.
Exactly. Yeah, you never know. You can't. He doesn't have a phone.
No.
Yeah, I don't know where he. I do know where he lives, kind of, but I would be embarrassed to go knock on the door there. So I
Right.
just have to go downtown and hope that I see him. You know, I've got a pretty keen eye when it comes to that kind of stuff. But we
Yeah.
don't all have a lot of time, right? So
Right.
you got to pick your moments, and I got to bring the kids with me.
Exactly.
go.
Yeah, that's it. So that's great. So that's Finding Featherhat Guy, the documentary that is the most Windsor documentary you'll ever see at the WIF November 2nd. Mike Evans, thanks for joining us on the ADG podcast.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me, guys. That was fun.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. That was awesome.
Cheers, Jacob. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Mike. I appreciate it. Well, from one great movie to another, let's give you our review on Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix. This movie, I've seen it twice. Jake has seen it twice, and we have a special guest. Mike Evans has decided to join us for this movie review. Mike Evans is back to give us his thoughts on Joaquin Phoenix, starring in Todd Phillips' The Joker. So, guys, first impressions of the movie.
Man, you know what? Nobody walked out of it in my movie theater, so that was good.
That's always good.
From what from what I heard from some of my friends, happened at their screenings. But no, I enjoyed it. I think, I honestly, and I'm going to start off with a bang here. I think this movie should have been a prequel to Christopher Nolan's The Batman. The
That's
first
an
one.
interesting take.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the way it lines everything up.
That's interesting, and I want to go back and watch Christopher Nolan's The Batman again. You're talking about the one with Heath Ledger, right?
Yeah, the one before that.
Well, the first
Oh,
one is
okay.
called
Yeah.
Batman. No, Batman
Oh, that's
Begins.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
Batman Begins. Yeah.
Yeah.
But from what I remember, that the Jonathan Nolan one with Heath Ledger was excellent, and everybody loved his performance. And then he got an Oscar because he actually passed away before the award. So, in my mind, the Joaquin Phoenix one is a little bit better of a film and a performance. And I think maybe Ledger got the Oscar because it was more of a lifetime achievement award, if that makes sense, because he passed away. I don't know. It's no, I think Joaquin Phoenix definitely owns this part. I want to see more. Everyone's telling me there will never be a sequel. There will never be a sequel. Well, I've heard that before. And I'm hoping that there will be, because we learned from Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., that everybody's got their price.
Oh,
And
yes.
I'm pretty sure if you brought out a truckload of money to Joaquin, he would agree to sign on for another trilogy.
Absolutely, because there was another, and I went the second time I saw it. I went to see it with two friends, and one who still believed that the Heath Ledger Joker was better than this, and I explained to them. I'm like, okay, but you're comparing that one to a different director, and also it wasn't an origin story. This one was an origin story about how this man went into sheer madness and became the Joker. The Heath Ledger one, he was kind of already established as this crazy psychopath who was smart. This one is more about this guy. He just wanted to be happy and he wanted to be loved. And when people weren't giving it back to him, he just snapped. So,
and such a real character too.
Exactly.
And he
sure.
has
It was a different universe. That was the thing. This is a different universe from that.
Sure.
So that's why I like the origin story, where it kind of builds everything up and shows the madness, which is slow build up, but it was excellent, very nicely done.
Yeah. And he was a likable character despite everything, despite the I think I counted 7 or 8 people, arguably 7 or 8 people that he murdered in the film. He was still likable. Because there was that scene where the little person was in the apartment and he just killed the bad clown with the scissors. Sorry if this is a spoiler, but and he's like, "Can I go?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, you can go." And like there was so much tension there that I was so caught up in the character. And then when he let that guy go, I was thinking, "Oh my God, okay, I like this guy. I'm on his side." And he wasn't a premeditated madman.
No.
He loved his mother. He took care of his mother. He just wanted to be loved. He was a clown. I don't know. And that gun, there was one gun in this entire film. And compared to every other superhero movie where there's hundreds of them, there was one gun, and that gun had more power in this film than a gun that I've seen in any other movie other than, say, Taxi Driver, which this film kind of parallels. It almost takes place in the same universe.
Exactly. That was one of the first things that I thought of, during the whole how he was dancing around with the gun, and it's very Travis Bickle-esque what he was doing,
And then you got De Niro in this movie as well, so that kind of just hammered that home a little bit more. Great movie.
I thought it was very well done, and obviously, if you're a Joker fan or a superhero fan, but this wasn't even a superhero. I don't classify this as a superhero movie because it wasn't. I think it was just, it's a movie based off a comic book character. But, if we're talking about pure acting ability, Joaquin Phoenix, without a doubt, is #1 Oscar contender.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure. And we reviewed this trailer, and that's what we said when we reviewed the trailer. Exactly what's going to happen. He's going to have an Oscar for this.
I hope so. Yeah, he deserves it. I mean, it's early, and I haven't seen any of the other movies, of course, but he's got my vote. We do an Oscar pool every year, and I'm not even going to have to see any of the other movies. I'm going to pencil him in right now.
Well, that's the thing. That there's going to be people that are going to be pulling for him, and then there's going to be other people that think like someone like Leonardo DiCaprio deserves one for his part in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which he was fantastic in as well. But like going back to it, how they're setting this up for the next Batman movie that's going to be coming out in the next year or two, or whenever they decide to do it, with Robert Pattinson. They just announced yesterday that Zoe Kravitz is going to play Catwoman in this movie. So that's kind of an interesting take on it. That I think they're going for more of an urban vibe Batman film.
Urban vibe.
I don't know. That's what I think. Like is this gonna be? Is this trilogy gonna stack up with Nolan? Probably not.
No.
But if you're a DC executive, you got to be happy right now. With
remember the Nolan film? The Nolan film with Bane in it.
Yeah,
that was the last one, right?
Yeah.
There were so many cool scenes in that film, and it was so well crafted. But if you break it down and you look at it, the chronology of it didn't make any sense whatsoever. So I think getting back down to basic storytelling and really good storytelling and in kind of like the setting of this film. Like, what was it? The early 80s, late 70s?
Late
looks,
70s, I want to say, yeah.
it looks
71,
amazing.
I
I
want to
think
say.
I think that yeah, I think they should do that. The original Batman with Jack Nicholson, it was kind of a comic book panel,
Yeah.
weird alternate reality type thing, you know, and with all, I don't know. I really like this one. This is kind of the one that I'm rooting for as the best incarnation of the Joker. And I've seen them all. Remember watching Cesar Romero in
Yeah.
the Bat TV series on reruns when I was a kid,
Mhm.
and the Mark Hamill
Sure.
Joker. Yeah,
Yeah.
this one's my favorite.
Yes, like I was telling Jake earlier, that every person that plays this iconic role does his own spin on it. Like Jack
Mhm.
Nicholson was different from Cesar Romero. Cesar Romero
Mhm.
was different from Heath Ledger, and so on.
Mhm.
That's what tells you how great a character is when different actors from different eras can put their own unique, amazing spin on it.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do in the with this character going forward, because there's still a lot of stuff we don't know.
Exactly.
A lot of stuff we don't know. We don't know if he was imagining that end scene. We don't know if the whole thing was in his imagination. We don't know. So I'm hooked. I want to see more.
Exactly.
For
Right.
sure. Definitely. We might find out. You never know.
That's it.
We might.
That's
There you go. The
pretty
Joker.
good. There you go.
Yeah, everybody should go see it.
There
see
you
it.
go. 2 thumbs up.
Absolutely.
All right, Darren. Let's hit a couple more trailers here to review. Let's start with The Irishman, because I just saw this trailer. And
Amazing,
you sent it
right?
to me a few weeks ago.
Amazing.
Yeah, no, it looks interesting. Like this is gonna be a storyline. Like this is a really
yeah.
huge movie.
Based on the book, I heard you paint houses. Yeah, the movie, the life story of Frank, the Irishman Sheeran, starring Robert De Niro, is just fantastic, and especially what they were doing with making him look younger during his younger years, and then as he gets older is quite amazing on a technical scale.
Oh
So
yeah,
for them,
CGI.
yeah, very
That Netflix money.
well advanced. Um, well advanced technology that they're using for this film. Obviously, Netflix paid $100 million for the rights of this movie, so hopefully they get that money back and then some.
Yeah,
Obviously,
probably.
superstar cast. De Niro, Pacino, Pesci, Harvey Keitel, Ray Romano. Pretty much anyone that's been in any mob movie in the last 20, 30 years is in this movie. And this being done by Scorsese, the bar is set high.
Oh, for sure. Listen, it looks great. Like the trailer itself looked amazing. Like you're just like,
Right.
but I want to watch this now.
I know, right?
Really pulls you in.
Exactly. So, like, I don't know exactly if it's going to be released, nationwide, or maybe it's going to start to select
Yeah, I
cities
think it's
right away.
nationwide for like a week, and then it goes
Yeah.
straight to Netflix.
Straight to Netflix, yeah. So it's going to be awesome to see on the big screen. I was a fan of the book, and then I told friends about the book, and then they start reading it. So the book has been circulating of people that I know. So I'm really looking forward to it. Because I really don't. Movies that are based on books, I don't really read the book first, so I really can't compare it to anything. But this one, I've read the book, and so there's a lot of interesting thing that they described in the book that I want to see how they do on the big screen.
That's cool. Yeah, no, I can't wait till it comes out. So what are you going to give the trailer out of 5?
Oh, I'm biased because I've been waiting for this movie to come out, so I give this a solid 5 out of 5.
Nice. Well, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5, and I'm definitely going to go see it whenever I can. Probably Netflix. I like the comfort of my own home. So yeah, I'm 100% going to see it as soon as it comes out, and we will go from there. But yeah, no, it looks awesome. Looks amazing. Cast is great. So yeah, there you go. Can't wait for The Irishman to come out.
There you go.
And then from The Irishman,
to the fullest.
Another trailer you sent me to look at this week, and I was like, "Are you serious?
What?
This is really happening?" Because this just came out. But
Oh
Doctor
yeah,
Dolittle.
Doctor Dolittle.
What the fuck?
Doctor Dolittle meets Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, I want to put this microphone through my brain. This was awful.
Yeah,
Awful.
I really don't know what they're doing. It's called the Journey of the
Some shit like that.
Something
Darren, do
like
we
that.
need another movie with Robert Downey Jr. talking to animals? Do we really need a movie like that? That's over CGI'd and
What was the first movie he talked to animals?
okay, he's been in the Avengers. Come on.
Okay, Endgame. Maybe talk to Rocket.
No, I'm just combining if people
raccoon.
talking animals with Robert Downey Jr. Do we really need this combination?
Yeah,
no,
but
no, we do not.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be silly jokes here and there and wisecracks kind of movie. It's going to be more like Dr. Dolittle meets Ferngully.
So you're gonna make a half serious talking to animals movie. Looked ridiculous. The trailer looked ridiculous. Like I don't want to watch, spoiler alert, watch the trailer, animals getting shot out of cannons like it's 1840. Like okay, no, I don't want to watch this. Going on a trip or a journey, whatever. I don't care. Looks ridiculous. I don't even know if kids will like this shit. It looks strange. Look at the trailer. It just looks strange.
Exactly.
I give this shit 1 out of 5 already. I'm not even gonna go talking about it.
After I'm in the same boat. I don't hate it as much as you do. I think it's an interesting take on a well-known story. So I'll give it a 2.5 out of 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
So generous.
I'm so generous. It's no.
He calmed down from the Lions review. He's
it's no Eddie Murphy. Dr. Dolittle.
God.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was great.
Was it?
It was.
Oh, really? Was it?
Okay.
We're gonna start doing old movie reviews.
Tune in next week. We're gonna be reviewing Big Mama's House.
No, the first one was pretty decent.
There you go. We should do that. We should pick a random movie from the 90s or whatever, and we'll just talk about it.
Oh God. I guess.
Coming up next on our movie review, Air Bud.
Air Bud.
Yeah.
I draw the line on leading roles for pets. I draw the line. No.
Air Bud World Pup.
Oh, stop.
There you go. You're such a big soccer fan. I know we already passed the sports, but Italy won again today, 4-0.
But did they advance in the Euro?
I think so.
Poland advanced in the Euro.
Oh, look at that! Well, I think Italy was undefeated. They were like 8-0.
Oh, okay, good. So they can lose in the first round. Got it.
Hey, man, as long as you show up, as long as you punch your ticket, that's it.
That's right. All right, that's it for movies. We did a lot. That's good.
Yeah,
that's some good trailers. All right, let's get to some music. Give our audience a little break from us talking nonstop. So, I got an artist, and I sent you the music video. So a while ago, so you get an idea of what we're playing today. And our artist for this week comes from Australia.
Land down under.
You always do that. It's hilarious. But then we have a lot of Australian artists for some reason that are featured on this show. There. I know we are. We're in Canada, but Australia loves us. So there we are. And her name is Kirrah Amosa. And she has a brand new single called Undefeated. And if that name sounds familiar to our listeners, especially those who watch The Voice, and especially The Voice Australia, our artist, this week's artist, was on The Voice Australia in the auditions portion of it. But she didn't make it on the show, unfortunately. But we love her songs and her singing because she's really, really good. And that's where we're going to feature her. And she does have a lot of musical experience. She's been in plays, performing a lot in her homeland of Australia. And she's a Canberra native. For those Australians that do listen to our show, you know where she's from. So she's been actually performing since she was 7 in musicals, plays, and other cool stuff. Yeah. And she's recently released this single that's just, been sent to us, and we love it because we listened to it and we played it, and we're gonna play it for everybody else. It's called Undefeated. Here's Kirrah Amosa.
I am undefeated. I am undefeated. Today is almost over. You're telling me to be cool in this game of poker. Why you making up your own rules? Tell me, boy, don't test me. I ain't that fool. Yeah, you've been so busy. Well, we all got shit to do. You know better than them lame excuses. We've been together far too long for truces. I ain't never putting pressure on you, sis. Oh, I'll wait. I do what I chooses. Already been through this before. Promised myself I wouldn't do no more. So it ain't a question. If you're trying to test me, you ain't gonna last this round. I am undefeated. I am undefeated. I won't be defeated. I am undefeated. Don't give me all that blah blah. I don't wanna pretend. I don't want no kappa. I don't need a boyfriend that I can lend around. I ain't into sharing. If she wants my scrap, she can get it out the trash can. You know better than them lame excuses. We've been together far too long for truces. I ain't ever putting pressure on you, sis. Oh, I'll wait. I do what I chooses. Already been through this before. Promised myself I wouldn't do no more. So it ain't a question. If you're trying to test me, you ain't gonna last this round. I am undefeated. I am undefeated. I won't be defeated. I am undefeated. It ain't about all the things that you do and the things that you don't, because I won't ever be distracted. I see the way you've been acting to keep your status intact. In this world, you gotta speak up. In this world, you gotta show love. In my world, you gotta show up. Can't be scared of heights, cause I'm blowing up. We going up. We going up. Higher. The top ain't enough. I work till I win and I lose when I stop. I don't need to get naked for validation. Like all the photos you like. I'm a boss in the making. If I want it, I'ma take it. Cause I already been through this before. Promised myself I wouldn't do no more. So it ain't a question. If you're trying to test me, you ain't gonna last this round. I am undefeated. I am undefeated. I won't be defeated. I am undefeated.
All right, guys, that was Kirrah Amosa, Undefeated. Check out the video. We're going to share it on our socials everywhere. Like, share, comment, subscribe, whatever. Tell her ADG sent you, because, we promote music. So there's that. There's our
There you
music
go.
feature for the week.
That's great.
Yeah, so that's that. So do we have a day in history this week?
Here's something. On this day,
Today, nothing.
On this day, back in 1860, 11-year-old Grace Bedell writes to Abraham Lincoln, telling him to grow a beard, and that's how he started growing a beard. Yes, exactly. I know you were wondering how did he get that idea to grow a beard? An 11-year-old wrote him a letter for him to And also in 1924, U.S. President Calvin Coolidge declares the Statue of Liberty a national monument. Ever been to New York? Ever seen it? There you go.
All right, that's not bad.
I guess they have in sports news on this day, 1933, Philadelphia Eagles played the first NFL game and they lose to the Giants 56-0.
Wow, not bad.
And then we're talking about film and movies today, back in 1940, The Great Dictator, satire social commentary film by and starring Charlie Chaplin is released. So there you go. Really interesting events. I actually just this past weekend I did see it was actually Mike Evan that had an old Charlie Chaplin film on a projector, and it was quite entertaining, quite funny. There you go.
Awesome. That's good.
So, and I think that's about it for this week. Oh no, there's one more in television because we like to talk about TV. Back in 1951, I Love Lucy started, starring Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz debuts on CBS. So there you go.
There we go.
I Love Lucy. All that and more on this day in history.
Awesome. Okay. So I got a top 5 for us this week.
Top 5.
Top 5. All right. Top 5 most expensive music videos ever made, because everybody wants to know.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's some songs you might know or might not know. You might know. Okay. So number 5. And this is one of my favorite songs by this artist, just because Hode features. Janet Jackson featuring Busta Rhymes, What's It Gonna Be?
Really?
Yep. $2.4 million.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's a good song, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Busta kills it. So. Okay, number 4. Mariah Carey, Heartbreaker, $2.5 million.
Is that the one with like Puff Daddy in it?
The remix, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Speaking of Puff Daddy, number 3. Puff Daddy song is Victory, $2.7 million. Don't care. It was crap. But yeah, that's
where the video was better than the song, right?
I guess. Because this song wasn't on the radio a lot. Okay, number 2, Madonna, Die Another Day. $6 million.
Wow.
Only one song tops that. From June 1995. The History album. Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Scream.
Yeah.
$7 million.
Wow. I thought it was gonna, obviously back then I'm sure it was pretty expensive. The Thriller music video
Yeah, it's like a mini movie.
Back then was the most expensive video ever made back then, obviously. But now you're in the 90s, you talk about really big high budgets for these artists.
Yeah. That's a trend now.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. There we go. All right. Let's close this off with my favorite segment. Garbage Person of the Week.
Yes.
And this is going to get a little international because it's a little serious topic. And this is why LeBron will never be Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was able to identify when there's an issue. Your job is to do something or nothing, or have a stance or don't have a stance at all. He was a very smart person. It still is a very smart person. His team's not very good that he owns, but he's a smart person. So, as we all know, China and Hong Kong have an international crisis on their hands. For those that live under a rock, I will explain. So there's protests in Hong Kong about how China deals with Hong Kong. They want rights, things like that. Read on it. I'm not going to explain details, but there's an issue there. Now, recently, a GM from an NBA team put out a tweet that he supports Hong Kong, whatever. Simple tweet. China, being the communist regime that it is, hosts NBA games and spends a lot of money on the NBA as a league. So what happened, all the advertisers in China pulled out of their preseason games there, and nobody out of the NBA wants to comment on the situation in China. As we all know, everybody has a stance nationally in the US about anything related to anything, but about the issues in China, there is a ho-hum and nobody says anything. So you would think the biggest superstars in the league, the ones that make the most money, that have the most influence, that sell the most product, that are the King James, LeBron James, would have a stance, would give his opinion because he doesn't shut up on things, nationwide. He would have an input. No. He comes out and says stupid shit. Okay? He doesn't have an opinion. And I don't know why he doesn't have an opinion. And because he makes hundreds of millions of dollars from the shoes that are made in China, from the brand that he has that's fueled by that system. I understand that. We can come out and say it. I don't have an opinion. They pay me. We're good. It's a business deal. No, he doesn't come out and say that. That I would understand because then we would know where LeBron stands. Cool, whatever. But when he is asked to comment, just trying to find this here, he didn't have anything good to say. So he said, and I quote, because I'm reading this off of his Twitter account, "I don't want to get into a verbal feud with Daryl Morey," because this is the owner that tweeted the pro Hong Kong tweet. "I believe he wasn't educated on the situation at hand, and he spoke," which kind of tells me that LeBron has no idea what the hell is going on. 2, he says this: "So many people could have been harmed, not only financially, physically, and emotionally, and spiritually. Yes, we do have freedom of speech, but there can be a lot of negative that comes with that too." In other words, not even addressing the issues going on overseas where they make, I think, the NBA is going to make about $2.4 billion from being associated with what's happening in China. So therefore, the money thing, let's say you get away with that thing. I'm just saying, but if you come out and say that, I'd be okay with it. But beating around the bush like LeBron, when you don't have a stance and you're not really saying anything, you're just there to be like, it's happening. I don't know about this guy, and nothing. Not even saying anything. Kind of makes you someone who's always about something, having a stance on everything. Not having a stance now makes you look weak. That's LeBron James. Yeah, I'm done. That's
there you go. There you go. Well done. Well said. Yeah. It's like if you're a famous athlete, it's like you're entitled to speak on issues that have nothing to do with you. But that's what
when it goes into your pocket and you don't really have an opinion. It's like,
exactly. You're this world-renowned athlete, and your platform is huge. So like,
isn't like the best opportunity right now, since you're LeBron, to actually get involved in something positive, and you don't because of money? Interesting.
Yep. Exactly.
But that was like our person of the week.
LeBron. There you go.
Oh, fun-filled show. Lots of movie stuff. Lots of music. Awesome interview.
Yes.
I think that's a great show.
No, it was good. So make sure you check out if you're going to WIF, check out Finding Feather Hat Guy. Premieres November 2nd at the Capitol Theater in Windsor. Any information, we'll do our best to put it up on our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything. You can find the A2G podcast on Apple iTunes, iHeartRadio, and any other place where you get your podcasts.
If you have questions, ideas, or comments, email us at a2gpodcast@gmail.com. If you have music you want to play, send it to us there. Yeah, just email us. Tell us that we're shit. Whatever. Do it.
or tell us that you like the show.
Yeah, that's good too. But that's it for episode 8. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Darren.
And we are ADG.